Okay, I want to show you two different realities when it comes to the FIFA World Cup. Here's the first one.
Yeah, hi, Preston. Organizers say hosting the World Cup in Seattle will be like hosting 6 Super Bowls here in a month, on par with the impact of the 1962 World's Fair here at Seattle Center.
Wow, 6 Super Bowls in 1 month. That's impressive. I mean, it sounds like these organizers think that everybody around the world is just going to drop what the hell they're doing and come to the United States for the FIFA World Cup. This is the reality that the FIFA organizers, tourism officials, restaurants, hotels, and anyone else thinking they can take advantage of FIFA World Cup for profit, this is what they're thinking. And this mentality is not restricted just to the United States. It's in Canada as well.
Vancouver would be hosting some FIFA events. Mayor Ken Sim said it would be a tourism cash cow.
Equivalent of probably 30 to 40 Super Bowls.
But some feel the initial hype was a little overhyped.
Yeah, that guy Ken Sim, he's the mayor of my hometown, and he's an idiot. But what I just showed you is the bubble that these corporate idiots are in right now. And the reality is that there's real boycotts going on right now for the FIFA World Cup. But not only that, to make it harder, everybody's gotten greedy. And there are clear warning signs that hotels are not expecting the demand that they wanted and having to slash rates. And one of the biggest markets for FIFA World Cup, Europe, they're just not heading to the United States. So in this video, I'm going to go over an article, and it talks about real people, real fans, and why they're not going to the United States. And the article I want to go over with everyone is titled, An Unintended Consequence of the US Immigration Policy. Some fans are skipping the World Cup in the US. Now, as always, I will read it out for everybody, for those that are just listening or for those that are visually impaired as well. Steve Swarbrick has attended every World Cup since 2006. He had no apprehensions about attending the games in countries such as South Africa and Brazil, which can have a reputation, fairly or not, of being dangerous for tourists. Given the scale of the international event, he trusted the local police would protect the World Cup visitors like himself. In South Africa and Brazil, I felt very safe because they had so many police, army, and security. I didn't have any fears of going out, Swarbrick tells CNN. But this year, the German national has made the conscious decision to boycott the games in the United States. Of all the host countries all over the last 2 decades, the Frankfurt resident said he's most fearful about the prospect of traveling to the US. Now step back and think about that for a minute. Steve is actually more comfortable visiting Brazil and South Africa instead of the United States. I mean, nothing against South Africa and Brazil. I mean, I guess it's just a reputation. The United States, the land of the free and the home of the brave, is now a place where citizens would rather go to South Africa and Brazil instead of the United States. I mean, let's just think of a scenario. Let's say, for example, the World Cup, for some reason it had to be canceled in North America and moved back to Brazil. I'm pretty sure the rest of the world would have no problems going to Brazil. Back to the article. You see the ICE people going around just pulling people from the streets just because they look foreign. And you don't get that feeling anybody would protect me, you know, he says. Hey, it's true. Swarbrick is also half Korean, half German. A profile he fears would make him a target. I look more Asian than German, he said. I wouldn't feel safe. Well, you're not wrong to feel that. I mean, even US citizens holding a freaking passport, a US passport, are not feeling safe in their own country. As a participating member association, PMA supporter, or superfan, Swarbrick was able to score 2 tickets for $1,600 to the quarterfinals and semifinal matches, games that are scheduled to play in US stadiums. PMAs are national soccer associations. Each soccer club gets to set their own eligibility criteria for establishing superfans, but usually, the PMA supporters have a paid membership fee and have attended both home and away games. So I think it's safe to say that this guy's a diehard football fan. After seeing ICE raids and learning the US government is considering vetting visitor social media activity for the last 5 years, he decided the trip wasn't worth the risk. He eventually declined the credit card transaction. Now, Steve is just one person. He's a super fan, and I'm sure there's like millions of them, to be honest, for each club. Okay, maybe not each club, but like total. What I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of Steves out there. And you can bet that Steve has been waiting for this for 4 years. 4 long years until this moment happens and he decides to cancel. So how many other Steves and superfans out there have also canceled? It's just something to think about. Swarbrick is just one of several international soccer fans who spoke to CNN Travel about their decision to skip the World Cup games in the US amid violent ICE raids in immigrant communities, the killing of the 2 Americans by federal agents, and a long controversial list of American foreign policies. But the sporting event held every 4 years is no stranger to controversy. Much remains to be seen how the tournament unfolds in the United States, which is co-hosting the World Cup with Canada and Mexico. So we heard from Steve, who is a super fan, and he basically decided to cancel. Not because it's too expensive and whatever else. I mean, it's because of the policies and the bullshit going on in the US. The next person I want to talk about is a little bit closer to home for us Canadians. And let me read it out for everyone. Canadian software developer Omar Hassan, 34, has tickets to 2 matches in Boston and New York. The Montrealer was originally going to go with a friend and a cousin who lives in Dubai. But his cousin is a Tanzanian national, one of the countries under the partial travel ban. Oh my god, what's up with you today? Here, eat this, eat this. At the time of writing, Hassan said the trio is likely going to resell the tickets, foregoing the US matches altogether and sticking to Toronto, where he also has game tickets. The group originally budgeted about 3 or 4,000 for the road trip. It's scary hearing what's happening at the border, Hassan said. I had friends who were forced to give up their passwords, who got their phone taken away. You see, all these new policies at the border, they're concerns for people. It's not just me, whining and fear-mongering. They're legit concerns for anybody wanting to go to the United States. And let's be real here. 14 months has gone by. How many people on their phones right now have some sort of negative sentiment or social media posts when it comes to the United States or the Orange Idiot? I'm pretty sure a lot of people do. It could be something as simple as saying, oh, the Orange Idiot caused the oil prices to go up. Will CBP consider that a negative sentiment towards their administration? Probably. Back to the article. As someone who is vocally critical of the Orange Idiot's policies in WhatsApp group chats, Hassan said he believes he's risked being turned away at the border, having his phone confiscated. He also echoed Swearbach's fears of being racially profiled by federal agents. I think that's a bigger one. People who are brown-skinned like myself, that's an extra risk. What happens if you disappear for 2 weeks? It's not something worth the risk. If you want to be realistic, I don't think it's going to be 2 weeks. It's more like maybe 60 days to 70 or 80 days. Now moving on to the next person. Like Swearbach, Britain Peter Holmes also said he's more afraid of attending games in the US than he ever was traveling to Brazil or Russia, and he's bought tickets for matches in Mexico instead. The red line for him was the shooting of Minneapolis Renee Good, who was killed by a federal agent. That was bad enough, but the contortions the government went through to deny and insinuate that she was some kind of terrorist, I thought, well, they could call me a terrorist and shoot me, he said. I was just sickened, absolutely sickened. Now we just heard from 3 different people around the world who sound like superfans, and we're more comfortable with going to places like Brazil, Russia, and South Africa versus the United States. If you asked me 2 years ago whether people would be more comfortable with going to Russia, Brazil, and South Africa versus the United States, I would have laughed. But not everybody is against going to the United States. It seems like this guy's going to roll the dice. Let me get back to the article. But not all soccer fans share the same anxiety. Arjun Mondwadia, 34, said he's looking forward to traveling to Kansas City for the quarterfinal game, where he hopes to see matches between Argentina and Portugal, and 2 legends of soccer on the pitch, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm very excited because it could be the biggest game ever, Mondwadia tells CNN. The Calgary resident paid $1,300 for his ticket and has already booked his flight and hotel for Kansas. His overall budget is about $2,000 for the weekend trip. Like his friend Hassan, Mondwadia is also brown and of Tanzanian heritage. He said he's confident that his Canadian passport, acquired last year with his citizenship, his Hindu background, and his apolitical social media presence will protect him. I've had a Canadian passport all my life, and I don't think it would protect me. Hell, you can have a US passport and it won't protect you. I don't foresee anything bad happening. It's going to be a festive atmosphere with games, he said. I don't think the US government would be that stupid to not take care of people coming over, because it's a big source of revenue as well. All measures will be in place, so I'm not concerned. I think this guy is putting way too much confidence in the US government on not being stupid. Do you think they actually really care about the tourism industry right now? Probably not. And do you think ICE's quota is going to stop when the FIFA World Games are on? Probably not as well. I'm not going to say very much about this guy, but I want to hear your thoughts and comments on this guy, so put them in the comments below. Now moving on. For perspective, soccer historian and writer David Goldblatt, who teaches a course on the history of world soccer at Pitzer College in Los Angeles, draws comparison between this year's games and the 2022 games in Qatar, which were dogged by allegations of abusive treatment of migrant workers, some who died while working under exploitative and dangerous conditions. Homosexuality is also illegal in the Emirate, which angered the LGBT community. Not much difference in the US right now, just saying. I would love to say there's probably as much, if not more, noise around Qatar, Goldblatt says. But it all came to nothing. Fewer Europeans traveled, and that may well be true for the World Cup 2026, but the stadiums were all pretty much full. Now, I'm not sure about his comments saying that there was more noise around the Qatar games, because right now, you got everything that's going on in the world kind of merged in with FIFA. The world's mad at the United States, and a lot of people are mad because of this as well. But this is just my opinion. I'm not an expert, but I just feel that there's more noise around this games than there was in Qatar. But I do agree with Goldblatt on this part. The soaring price of tickets, however, means that the stands will be filled with particular kind of demographics he had, basically the rich. I think we will probably end up seeing a World Cup for the 1%. There's lots of wealthy people in the US, Goldblatt says. I think there will be a lot of folks there who may never have been to a soccer game, and who are there because it's going to be like a Super Bowl or a show on Broadway. And I think it will probably be a very white audience as a consequence. These things can become visible at World Cups. Now, the article goes back to Peter Holmes, the guy from Britain. Let me read it out. Holmes, a retiree who lives in northern England, is a lifelong soccer fan who attended the World Cup games in Brazil and Russia back when tickets could still be had between $70 and $100. He decided against attending matches in the US in favor of Mexico this year and slammed FIFA for making the games inaccessible for their core fans. Football is traditionally in Europe and South America for the working class, he says. It's a game for the masses, for the keen supporters who love football, the passion, the excitement, even the boring games. It's very disappointing that they're effectively going to exclude through pricing, and I think it's going to devalue the World Cup a lot. I wholeheartedly agree with Peter on this because the core fans are being rejected right now. The first one, they're not able to afford it, and second, they're going to have problems going into the United States. Now, I'm not a football fan, so I can't really put myself in the shoes of the people that I've just, read out. But I would imagine some of the super fans and some of the core fans for FIFA World Cup might have a different opinion on it when it comes to, 4 years from now. Now, the next section of this article actually talks about tickets, but I'm going to kind of skip over it. But if you do want to read it, the link will be in the description below. What I do want to talk about is the hotels, because this is something I've covered on my channel outside of FIFA as well. So let me read this part out for everyone. Market research from the hotel data tracker Lighthouse Intelligence also shows the hotels are slashing room rates in cities like Dallas, Kansas City, Miami, Atlanta, and San Francisco. Average advertised room rates in Dallas, for example, peaked at $387 a night, about 6 months out from the games, dropping to $250 a night earlier this month. Now, room rates, they don't drop for no reason. They drop because nobody's interested. And FIFA releasing rooms in every host city, that speaks volumes if you ask me. But it comes down to, greed if you ask me. But it seems like every city in the US, not even the ones hosting, the games, we're trying to take advantage of this. Let me show you this report I did out of Colorado.
The tourism industry hopes events like America's 250th, Colorado's 150th, and the World Cup, even though it's not in Colorado, will be a boon for the year.
As I'm talking to hoteliers, depending on the type of hotel, advanced bookings are not great. But one of the things we are counting on is the FIFA World Cup will bring people to the United States. And yes, we are counting on the US 250, Colorado 150 celebration for the whole year, but particularly this summer.
Yeah, I'm sure international people are going to be flying to the United States, going through CBP, worrying about ice, and then heading to a game, and then after that, heading to Pikes Peak in Colorado. Yeah, I'm a little snarky on that one. But what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't matter if it's a host city. Everyone was trying to take advantage of it. Now, let's get back to the article. FIFA itself has dealt a blow to the industry, canceling thousands of room bookings for staff, media organizations, athletes, and sponsors in host cities like Philadelphia, Atlanta, Toronto, Vancouver, and Mexico City. And while the industry experts say it's not unusual for major event organizers to overbook is an understatement, hotel rooms and adjustment reservations later, the volume of cancellations is raising eyebrows. No shit. As the tournament approaches, it appears likely that FIFA won't use nearly as many rooms as anticipated, which will leave hoteliers scrambling to fill the rooms. The CoStar report reads, now you know how I always say that all reports and articles always have to finish on a positive? Well, here it is. To get an early sense of travel to the US, CNN Travel has reached out to several host cities. 2 months out from the start of the games, Houston's tourism office tells CNN that the hotel bookings are up 30% for June compared to the same time last year, and up 70% for the first week of July compared to the previous period. As of April 2nd, the majority, 85%, of bookings are domestic, and 15% are international. The biggest international source market is the UK, followed by Mexico and Canada. In Atlanta, the majority of hotel reservations for the World Cup as of April 1st are also domestic, though the number of international visitors is higher than what the city typically sees, the tourism board tells CNN Travel. Now, we're all adults here, and I think we can use our own judgment on what we can believe and what we don't believe. But my emphasis for this video is really to showcase the superfans, and the fans that are diehard football fans. They're not happy, and quite frankly, they're pissed. And I'm sure there are actually millions of others as well. But think about how many other thousands, or if not millions of other superfans probably would have went to the United States if everything was normal. But everything in the United States is not normal, and in fact, it's like a clusterfuck right now. But we're 45 days until the FIFA World Cup starts, which is not a lot of time. And for all these tourism executives and hotel people and, people that are expecting that everyone's going to come last minute, well, it's 45 days to get your hotel, to get your flight, to get your visas, to pay your visas, and, pay your bond. That doesn't leave very much time. But I think we're all going to sit here and pull up a chair and just see how this all unfolds. Because I'm interested to see what these hotel executives start to blame when a lot of their rooms go unsold. Because the superfans, they decided to stay home instead. Now, to end this video, I would like to thank Richard again for sending another photo from Secret Cove on the Sunshine Coast. Yeah, I know, I got a little bit of a bias when it comes to the coastline or the lakes or any photos that have to do with water, because I do miss it, and I do miss having the seawall at my doorsteps. But I want to thank you, Richard, for sending another photo of my home province. And before I close this video, I just want to let everybody know that every so often, I'm going to try to stick with my 2 videos per day, but I probably need some breaks here and there. But I'll definitely let everybody know if I'm going to be taking an extended break or not. If you found any value in anything I said today, or you want to hear more from a Canadian and international point of view, without the US media bias, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button below. That way you'll be notified on my future videos. And if you want to see more of my videos, check out the ones that are going to show up on your screen shortly. Thanks everyone, I'll catch you in the next one.